Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo Podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Gemma, and joining me again this week for the second week in a row, I think, my two excellent friends. Welcome back, Kirk. How are you this week?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Yes, and welcome back, Trev. How are you?
Yeah, back to back.
Back to back. I know.
I am okay. I'm Trev. I'm
You're
hanging
Trev.
in there.
Good to hear. And I guess this is our final episode before the Switch 2 launch because it's this week. It's mere days away. We've been counting down for some time now since we got the date back in April. And now it is happening this Thursday, 5th of June. The Switch 2 is out. So I'm going to say, I've said this the last 3 weeks. It's becoming a bit of a broken record. We're in the end game. It's happening. We're here. Very excited. We're going to just quickly talk about our final thoughts, expectations, games, of course, that we're going to play. We're going to go through some excellent Mario Party news that dropped during the week, new trailer that showed off some cool stuff, as well as some Pokemon news. Plenty of discussion topics this week, as well as the games we're playing. So, Switch 2, I guess, is the thing of the week. Any kind of final thoughts from either of you? Trev, have you been swayed into getting one on launch day? I guess is my first question.
Sorry, I have not, but I maintain that I'm excited for you guys and for all the early adopters. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who, you know, are maybe excited to revisit Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Maybe they haven't played them yet for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's people, Kirby might be brand new to them, and
Mm.
same with Mario Party that we're going to talk about. So, and not to mention Mario Kart, which is an outright brand new game. So, depending on the type of player, you might have a vast library,
Mm-hmm.
from the get go. So, for that person, I'm excited. For someone like me, I'm not there yet, but we'll see how the launch goes. We'll see how the months ahead goes, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, see if I get swept up in all the excitement.
Hopefully. Is my countdown on Blue Sky not doing it for you?
I've been sharing some of that,
You have,
but
yeah.
a lot of them I look at, I'm like, yeah, I've already played that. I'm not that excited for it. Like I'm excited for you. Like I'm thrilled that you're going to be able to play Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
Yeah,
That like
definitely. That
gets
is
me
something.
really, really pumped up. But I mean, that was my game of the year when it came out. But it's like,
Mm.
yeah, I've already played it. I don't want to. I mean, I do want to replay it eventually, but I don't. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. Yes. And Kirk, how are we going with our acquisition in terms of your plan? What's your 3-point plan towards acquisition?
Yeah, I've developed a 3-point plan toward acquisition. I'll say that a few times because I just like the way it sounds, right?
Yeah.
My marketing speak.
It is. It's a good marketing
Well,
spiel.
yeah, I say it with the knowledge, as you know, and our listeners know, that I do have a backup in place. So if I don't get it on drop day, I'll still be getting it a bit later. But why not try to get it day one, right?
Mhm.
So, step one is Wednesday, the day before. GameStop is a bunch of stores, Best Buy, GameStop, others have said they will have stock or units in stock that haven't been pre-ordered on day one. But they haven't said which or how many.
Mm.
GameStop is doing something where the day before you can go there in the afternoon and get a pre-order in on those units
Cool.
that you have to pick up at midnight.
Right.
So you
Mhm.
can't go say, okay, I'm going to buy one and then show up the next day. It's got to be midnight or they're going to release it to first come, first serve. I believe that's how it was explained to me. So
Okay.
that's step one. I will go there in the afternoon, try to get in. And if I get my order in, then I just show up at GameStop at midnight and I can pick it up, come home and get started.
Nice.
If I don't get that in, then I'm going to try Best Buy. They open at midnight, and I went to the Best Buy store and talked to them about picking that up and if they knew how many they were going to have. And they said you can only get it online. And I thought, okay, you have no idea what I just asked.
Yeah.
But that's fine, so it goes. So I will try that. If that doesn't work, then the next morning, the Staples near me, as we mentioned last week, they've said that, or we've read that they will have some stock as well. So I will show up at Staples an hour before they open and see if I can get it there. If not, I wait for the order that Justin pre-ordered from Target to arrive to him, and then he will ship it to me after he picks that up.
Excellent. That's a good plan. I love that.
I feel like I'm covering my bases.
I think so too. You were doing everything within your power to get this thing on day one. So
And the funny thing is, like, I'm more along the lines of Trevor in that I'm not really excited about the games that I'm going to be playing. Unlike, say, when the Switch came out and it was all about Breath of the Wild and I had to have it and I wanted to start right away. This feels more like the Wii U launch, where I wasn't sure which of these games that either I know about a little bit and could be impressed with, or have never heard of, and one's going to come in and just really surprise me. That's how I'm approaching this, because a lot of the games coming out, I'm either playing again, like Bravely Default, or something like Kunitsugami that I have never played. So it'll be curious to see what happens, but nothing that I feel like I've really got to have on day one.
true. Yeah. That's a good point. I think if you're not a Mario Kart fan, in particular, which I am, so that's my day one game. Like, I need to play this. I need to have Mario Kart World in my life, and I'm excited to do that. But it's not Breath of the Wild, for example, which is different genre, different audience, I suppose, as well. So yeah, it's a little bit different in that sense. I think there's a lot of, I guess they're relying a lot on the third party titles for this launch, right? Like your Street Fighters, your Bravely Default, Cyberpunk, even things like, even though they're not new games, but like Hogwarts Legacy or even Fantasy Life, the new one that just dropped, was it last week? Fantasy Life I has a Switch 2 version. So things like that might help convince people, I guess, or people, or sway people, like Trev said. But yeah, there's no huge, like Mario Kart World is huge. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm very excited. It's not your Mario or Zelda, big title that I suppose goes with a launch typically. So they are relying on Mario Kart quite heavily for this launch. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, we've just learned in Australia that EB Games has sold out of its consoles, its pre-order consoles. That was some news during the week as well. I had said previously on an episode that anecdotally, like they told me in store that they had sold out of, I think it was the Mario Kart bundle, and the just the solo console was still available. But now it seems like it's sold out across the board. So I guess that's a good thing in terms of sales. Yeah. But I love the 3-point plan. I think if you don't get it, one of those 3 ways, I mean, I will be a little bit sad for you. But you do have the ultimate of the backup plans, which is Justin's pre-order. It just means a bit of a delay. So yeah.
Here's my chance to.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, it's not important. I was going to say, here's my chance to chime in.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith. You relying on a 3-point plan? Are you out of your mind? You need a 5-point plan. You're going to be counting on GameStop to hold your Switch 2. That's it.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been watching a lot of playoff basketball. So.
Yeah. 3 points not enough. We need 5. I think you could add Walmart in there as well, probably, if you wanted to. Yeah. No, I think that's excellent. Good plan. Listeners, let us know your plan for your acquisition on launch day. The games that you're going to be playing, I will be playing Mario Kart, of course. I'm very excited to get back into Breath of the Wild and or Tears of the Kingdom. Like you said, Trev, a lot of people have already played these games. Maybe some haven't. I have, of course. But I am looking forward to just jumping in and revisiting that world, the Hyrule world that I haven't really been to recently, and just experiencing, I guess, the difference in terms of graphics. And
are you upgrading day one
for those games? Yeah. Well, I've got Switch Online, so it's free.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So there's no reason not to for me. Like, that's kind of a no-brainer for me. But yeah. I don't know what else to get. I'm a bit stuck because there's so many other things I want, and I don't have, unlimited resources in terms of time or money. So I have to kind of think about that a little bit more. I am very interested in Fantasy Life I because it's just been getting such good reviews, and I did love the original. We've talked about it on this show a lot in the past in terms of trailers and launch dates and stuff. It's out now. I'm very tempted to get it. It's just not a cheap game, so that's on my
And
wish
is it a
list.
physical game?
It is
Is
for
it?
Switch. I don't know if it is for Switch
I
2 or
thought I
not.
looked it up and I couldn't find it, but maybe I'm
Yeah, I'll
mistaken.
see. I'll find out because yeah, I would be tempted to get it physically, of course. I mean, I could get the Switch 1 physical and then upgrade, and I believe the upgrade is super cheap. They've just announced the price for it. I think in the US it's like $2 or something like that, $2.50. I can't remember, but the upgrade price for Switch 2 version, if you have the Switch 1 version, is really, it's a really decent price. I don't think there's huge upgrades exactly. It's more about the graphics, but still, it's a nice little price point, that's for sure.
See, I'm getting like Japan, Play Asia. I'm wondering if it's like physical in certain regions.
Could be, actually.
Because I couldn't find a Switch first. I see it on PlayStation and whatnot, but I couldn't find it for
Mm.
Switch because I was looking, because I was curious too.
Yeah, I will find out when I pick up my Switch 2. I'm going to ask that question, actually. Yeah. So, and speaking of Australia, I wanted to just give a little update. I don't know how many listeners are in Australia. There's a handful. So if you're in Australia, if you haven't got your pre-order in, if you have your own 3-point plan and you wanted to add a 4th point, Amazon Australia has added Switch 2 pre-orders, finally. It's been a thing we've been waiting for over here, just in terms of the news, in the media, like, where's Amazon's Switch 2 pre-orders? They have come through just last week. So if you haven't got a pre-order in and you're still looking for one, Amazon has some pretty good deals there. And I believe they guarantee day 1 delivery, which is pretty neat. And the prices, they're not super cheap compared to like EB Games, for example, but they're a couple of dollars off. So they're good.
Now, can I do my Charles Barkley one? Guaranteed! All right, I'm done.
Thank you, Trev. The other piece of Australian news is that it's 10% off eShop cards at Big W from June the 10th to 16th. So just after the Switch 2 launch, which is pretty good timing. It makes things slightly cheaper if you're looking to download something, like Street Fighter 6 or Bravely Default or whatever it is on the eShop. You get 10% off, which is nice. So have a look at that. In terms of the launch, in terms of my plan, I mentioned there's midnight launches at EB Games, which I can't attend because my local store that I pre-ordered from isn't doing a midnight launch, but they are doing a breakfast launch. I literally just found this out yesterday. They emailed to say, I have a fast pass because I guess I'm a EB World member. So I pay the annual fee, and so I get a fast pass, which means I get to get it quicker, I suppose. And they are doing a breakfast launch, so I am thinking now I might just go along at 7 a.m. and try to beat the crowd or whatever. I don't know how much of a crowd there'll be at 7 a.m. at my local EB Games, but I'm thinking maybe 50 to 100 people. So
Is that why they call it a fast pass? Because the breakfast is so good, you want to fast before you go there.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for details about the breakfast launch. If there's actually breakfast involved, or if it's just because of the time of day. Is there food
Should have
involved? Yeah,
donuts at least.
something. Yeah, I will let you know next week once I've attended such a thing. The details were scanned in the email, but I think I will do that. My plan is to get there at 7. Hopefully, it takes no more than an hour, or I'll get there before 7. They open at 7 to 8. I'm hoping to get it by 8 because I need to get home and take my kids to school. And then I can, from 8 to 9, while the whole kid thing is happening, the Switch 2 can do its update, and then I can get back at 9 and it's ready to go. So
I got a
So what
question for you.
happens? Go
sorry.
ahead. I'll
No, you
follow
go,
up,
Kirk.
Trev. I was
sure?
going to ask if you are in line and it's getting really close to when your kids got to get to school, but you're also really close to the end of the line, what are you going to
I
do?
know that's so going to happen to me. I can tell. If I'm super close, I'll stay. If it's like there's 20 people in front of me and it's going to take half an hour or something, I will have to just leave, I think, and come back at 9, basically. Yeah.
You could do what we do in America and just push your way to the front. I got to pick up my kids. I'm sorry. I got to pick up my kids. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I got to get my kids. I got to hurry.
What impression is that?
Just every person who's ever been behind me in a line.
Yeah. I'll consider it. I don't know. What will people do if I do that? They'll glare. Australians just glare. They just
All right.
they'll just stare. Yeah. In fact, that's probably what I'll do. I'll just hard stare because I want them to hurry up. I think that's what I do when I'm stuck in a line. I just stare at the people in front of me like, come on, why are you so slow? Just
You
move.
kind of will them into moving faster. Okay,
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah,
I
use
get
the
it.
force. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of good plans there for day one. Yeah, we'll see how we go. I'm very, very excited. Mere days away now. Trev, I can't wait to just tell you my stories and get you pumped, and maybe you'll get it next
Yeah.
week.
And Kirk's question was pretty much mine. We're in sync today. I was going to say, do the kids get a day off from school if the choice is grab the Switch 2 or get them to school?
Oh, no, they'll go to school late. I know, it's so tempting, but they will, bad timing for me, and sorry if this is too much information in terms of my private life. It's not personal information or anything, but it's just could be considered boring. But Thursday night, the day of launch, is a concert at the school. So that night, I would make a departure from our usual rule of not playing devices during the week, and we would be playing Mario Kart World that night. But the kids have a concert, which I have to attend because they're my kids and I love them. But it does mean less Mario Kart World on day one. So
Tell them the band director. It's a band concert or a choir.
yeah, band. Yeah.
Okay. Tell them that in honor of the launch, they should be playing Mario's theme
Yeah.
at one
Yes.
point
Yeah.
during the show.
Now that would be neat. Yes. I wonder if it's too late to get that onto the onto the list. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so very excited for day one. Let's move on, I guess, if we're done. Do you have any other Switch 2 launch stuff you want to discuss before we go on to some other news and highlights?
No, except to say that I hope that you won't have to worry about purchasing too many games, Gemma, because our review codes will be coming in.
Oh, yes, hopefully. Hopefully.
So who
Mm.
knows what we're going to end up playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I can't wait to see what will happen in the next, couple of weeks. Yeah, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a really good time. Really, really cool. But let's move on to some games that are coming to Switch 2, because Mario Party Jamboree, for example, is not, I think that one's not out till July. We knew there was a pretty decent upgrade pack coming with this game, and I hope, Trev, you're excited about this. Well, both of you, actually. You both like Mario Party, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And
think we all had it in our top 10, maybe even top 5.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so for
Yeah.
last year. Yeah, it's a great outing, Mario Party Jamboree. And they released a trailer. We knew there was what's it called, Jamboree TV coming with some really cool features, but they've released this trailer just during the week from Nintendo of America, and it shows a lot of the new features in a lot more detail. And I really liked the way they broke it down in terms of the modes. So we'll go through some of the modes and I guess what looks good. Some of it we knew, some I think we didn't know. For example, in the Mario Party mode, we knew you could have 4 players with a camera, of course. That was in the trailer. We knew that already in the previous trailer, sorry. What I think we didn't know, at least I did not know, was about the tag team rules, which I think was in one of the other Mario parties you could play. It was not, I think it was not the second to last, but the one before that on the Switch. You had,
Yeah,
yeah,
Super Mario Party had, I think it was called, I forget what it had, a different name, but it was basically the same thing, cooperative.
yeah. And it was really fun. We played that mode a lot, actually. It's a bit hard when you've got 3 people because you end up having to do 2 on one team and 1 with a CPU player. But but it is a fun time, and I think this one has a few extra features, such as this together dice, which I don't believe was in the previous one. So you can roll together and move the total number of spaces if you have this special dice.
Well, the previous one, I think you had
Mhm.
that independent movement that they sort of had, and I think it started in Star Rush on the 3DS, where you could kind of move any
Mhm.
which way. The boards were designed differently, though,
Yeah,
in
true.
Super
Yeah.
Mario Party.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then there's a warp, and you can even get double stars and things like that. So it really changes up how you play, which I think it's just another way to play, which is great. Um, then there's this this one is very new. I don't believe we've had this before, but the frenzy rules. Are you familiar with this at all, Trav? Have you ever heard of anything like this before in Mario Party?
I don't have a note on it, so I guess it didn't leave enough of an impression with me.
Okay.
I did watch it. Remind me what it was.
Okay, so it's a new rule which gives you 5 turns to play. You know, the default is 10, and
Oh,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can go 15, 20, whatever. This is 5, so it's like a short, like a Fast and Furious kind of way to play. 5 turns, like super quick. I'm guessing they say 10 turns is they give you the time limit usually when you choose your game, features or whatever, when you're choosing your game. 5 turns is obviously going to be a lot shorter, which is cool to give you something just quick. But to help with that, you start off with I put 5 coins. Sorry, that's 50 coins. You start with 50 coins each. You get double dice. So you get 1 double dice each. You also start with a star, and you can do jewels from the beginning. So it's like, well, it's a frenzy mode, right? So I love the term frenzy. It's just like a crazy, crazy fast mode where it seems like anything is almost possible. I love the idea of this. I'm going to try this out for sure when I get it with my kids. I don't know. Does that appeal to you guys, or is it just me?
Yeah, I think it does. What I like about it, although most of the time when we sit down to play it, we want a longer experience.
This is
So
this is
it's
true.
not something that we'll play a lot. But I like that so many times I've played Mario Party and have been doing really well. And as the game went on, things just went south and then further south and then further south. This minimizes the chances of that happening, where
Uh-huh.
either I'm not going to win and I knew it from the start, or I start out hot and there was no time for me to blow anything. So I could actually make it to cross that finish line first.
Yeah, yeah, I love that analogy. Well, it's not really an analogy, but I love that. I love the description. Yeah, that's perfect. I feel the same way. I love the longer games because you get more time. Obviously, you can collect more stars. You can be a bit more strategic. But yeah, I'm often the same. I don't make a comeback at the end. I just, yeah, I flail. So this is gonna be really cool to try something different, I think. Yeah. Other modes they talked about was the Bowser Live mode, where you and we've seen this, I guess, a little bit previously, where you appear on Bowser's stage and you use body movements using the camera and the mic, and you can use it. There were some modes that didn't require the camera, so you can play it without the camera if you don't have it, and it uses the microphone. This call and response thing, I think, was an example of that, where you're kind of yelling at the screen. I don't know. It feels very
Like
cathartic.
Stephen A. Smith.
Yes. Do your best impression. I was going to say, are either of you getting the camera? Sorry, I cannot speak this morning. But I know Trev's not even getting the Switch 2 at this point. But Kirk, you're not. Would you get the camera? Like if you day one, say you make one of your 3-point plan things happen, the midnight one, let's say you're there, the Switch 2's there, they've got your name on it. There's a camera right next to it. Would you impulse buy it or not?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
I would not. No, I am going to get partly because the extra money that I'm throwing around that day will
Mhm.
go to the Pro controller,
Yes.
and maybe one of the SD cards or whatever they're called in this particular system for
Mhm.
more memory. But no, I'm not. I'm not a chat social kind of player to begin with.
Mhm.
But having said that, there may come a game where I think that it's such a cool integration with the camera that I will give in and finally get it.
Mhm. Cool. Okay. I like that because it's not a no, it's like a not yet, maybe,
Yeah,
kind of. Yes. I've
I
got
just
did
one.
gotta
have
wait
a
and
thought,
see.
though.
The head should have a clock, did you say?
No, I'm saying I do have a thought on
Oh,
some of these
sorry.
things, even though I'm not getting a Switch 2, because you're talking about like the camera and the mic, especially. I was thinking about. Obviously, Mario Party games have had mic mini games before. Like going
Yes.
back even to the GameCube and
Mhm.
then on DS, 3DS. But is this the sort of thing that's going to get more than a novelty play? Like, are you going to want to be screaming? Like, what if people are in an apartment building? Are you going to want to be screaming into a microphone and have your neighbors, poking the floor, the ceiling, or banging on the walls? I just,
Maybe invite them over to play.
hey, that's potential. But I just think of the meat and potatoes. Mario
Mm,
Party's always been the boards, and
yeah.
even the best of these side modes, for me at least, have always been, I dabble with it, and then I go back to the main game, and I just look at a lot of this, not to mention the ridiculously long name, because what's the full name? Super Mario Party Jamboree, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, plus Jamboree TV. It's like I don't want a couple dozen syllables to say a name. So
Yeah.
again, it's one of those. I'm excited for people who miss this on Switch because it was one of my favorite games. But for me, the extras haven't really done anything. Like I wouldn't see myself getting them as DLC to upgrade the
Mm.
version I already had.
Yeah. Well, that's fair enough. I can see myself getting it just because it's for me it breathes new life into it. And I like you're right about some of these modes being a bit yeah, like what's the word that you use, sorry? Like a gimmick, I suppose, in terms of Bowser's Life, for example. That's a lot of movement, you know, in terms of screaming and moving around. You might not have the room for that, or it might not be an everyday thing. I
I
think
want
there's
you to film yourself, Gemma, you and Hayden and Harrison, all
a
scream into the top of your lungs.
yes.
Put it as a YouTube short.
Yeah. I'll see. But I think there's enough other modes to make it worthwhile. Like the screaming is just one thing, and then you've got, you know, you've got the frenzy rules, which I am keen to try. You've got the tag team rules, which I'm very keen to try because we used that a lot in the previous one. And then there's
I
this,
am glad they brought that back.
yeah, yes.
They did.
Hello, Kitty.
Sorry about that.
Do you have an opinion? And the carnival, yeah, the carnival coaster, I think, is also a neat thing. And this reminds me of the what was the one where there was that waterfall? No, it was a rapids thing, and you,
Yeah, it was in Super Mario Party, and there
yeah,
had like divergent paths
yeah. So this
that you
reminds me
could
of
do.
that, and I think yeah, it's an extra mode. It's not your meat and potatoes, like you said. It's not the boards. It's not going to be the thing that keeps you playing. But we did go through that rapids thing over time. We went back and revisited it, tried to get through the paths because I think there was alternating pathways. And you had to get to the end, and you had to go to all of the ends or something. There was like a bunch of different exits or something through the different caves and that. So
Oh yeah, there were. I 100%
yeah,
did it too.
yeah, that's it. So I feel like this is similar to that in a way. And there's four. Well, I thought they said 5 courses, but then did they only mention four? Because I only wrote down four. But I like the variety of, you know, the volcano coaster, the haunted coaster, the sky high coaster, the trial coaster. Is that a thing? Um, yeah, I feel like that's a new ish thing, especially with the mouse controls. It's
Mhm.
like again, it could be gimmicky if you want to see it that way.
I was thinking the coaster might be good for people who miss the like the style of the Mario Party games where you were all in the same car, like
Yeah,
Mario Party
yeah.
9 and 10 and
Mhm,
the first one on 3DS. The name escapes me. You know, those were all kind of
mhm.
um,
Oh,
had that feature. So
yeah, yeah.
you know, a lot of people did like that. They weren't as maybe popular as the traditional entries, but for people who like that, I think that can be an appealing
Mm.
new feature or
But
revisited feature.
yeah, and what I guess at the end of the day, I do think you're right in that it would be nice if a new board was included in this pack. That would kind of seal the deal then, right? Like if you did have a completely new board to play, that might have
I
been a
think
nice
so.
inclusion. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I think they could have created a board that did a better job of integrating all these new features rather than kind of
mm,
shove them into the other ones. They could have
mhm.
created a board specifically to play with all of these. But it does
Yeah.
bring up another point I didn't consider in that I'm going to have to get additional Switch 2 Joy-Con, aren't I, to even play this game
Um,
aside from the
oh,
two.
for the mouse part, I guess. True. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
think about that either, actually. Yeah, that's a good point. I will only have the two. I haven't pre-ordered any more Joy-Cons. Yeah, you will. We will. Anyone will. That is a good point. If you want to do mouse controls, you can. I guess you can plug in a third mouse if you had 3 players, right? You could just use the USB, maybe.
I think maybe. Yeah, well, we'll find out.
Actually, there are 2 USB-C ports. Could you plug in 2 mice? Would that work?
Will Nintendo frown upon that because they're not officially licensed?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. They
It'll
can
be like your Apple devices when you plug in something that doesn't have that MFI on it, reminding you that who knows what this is and it's going to blow up. You might want to unplug it now.
yeah. I mean, you can definitely plug in third-party, mice. We've seen that. We was that last week we talked about that? Or the week before maybe? Maybe Trevor wasn't on that show. You can yeah, you can definitely do that. I just don't know if it's compatible with all mice or or I don't know if you can do 2. I feel like 2 might be pushing it. So yeah. Plus, you'd have to sit pretty close to the screen then, right? Because generally the TV is not near the couch, like the Joy-Con's cordless because you don't sit right in front of the screen. So if you have a mouse plugged in, I'm guessing the USB, like Bluetoothy type of ones, whatever, wouldn't work. Wireless. I don't know. These are questions. We have
It's so
questions.
funny you say that, Gemma. I was
Mhm.
playing my old NES. I busted out the Zapper,
Oh,
and
right. Cool.
back in the day with small box TVs, we had to you're standing on top of it because the cord was only so long. It was like
Yeah.
5 feet long or
Yes.
whatever. And now TVs are so big. Like one of our TVs, I feel like I'm on top of it, even though there's a fair amount, just because it's ridiculously big. I won it in a contest. I would never buy a TV that large, but
Yeah.
I'm like, it's too big. I got to move back. But there's the shape of the room. I'm like into the
Mm.
wall. So I think that's a good point you brought up about,
About the
device
mice.
use
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I guess it's a mixed bag. You could take it as a pretty decent pack of upgrades that may or may not be appealing to you. So it definitely takes into consideration those new peripherals, the Joy-Con mice, the camera, etc. Yeah. Will it be as good as the original? Well, I guess we'll wait and see. I think it is missing a few things such as new board, new characters as well. Maybe would be cool. Maybe that's to come. I don't think so, but maybe. You never
Mm,
know. There are new mini
yeah.
games. I don't know if they mentioned a number of how many there are, which obviously take advantage of those new devices. I guess that's limiting in a way, but I suppose this is the Switch 2 version. So everyone has the mouse controls, at least 2 of them. So mouse games are fine. I don't know what happens though, like you said, Kirk, I hadn't really thought about that. If you have 4 people, which usually you do with Mario Party, generally you have a group of people. What happens if you need 4 mice? I guess you could swap between, like take turns, or I guess maybe there's 2v2 games where 2 of you use a Joy-Con with a mouse and 2 don't, or something like that. You're going to need 4 controllers regardless, so you can't even play Mario Party with 2 controllers if you've got 4 people. So at some point you need at least a Pro controller, if not more Joy-Cons. So I suppose it's a bit of yeah, a point. It makes sense in a way, right? But
Well,
yeah.
yep. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah, and me too,
There
but
always comes a point where I get extra Joy-Con. Usually after they announce some new colors, then we'll
yes,
pick them up, and then
exactly, yeah.
everyone fights over who gets the new ones or their favorite color.
Yeah, that's it.
Um,
Yeah, we'll be doing the same for sure. Yeah. And there's the game share, which is supported. And I don't know what you thought of this, but I think we knew this was a thing, but we didn't know quite what you could do with it. So you can share the game with people who don't have the cartridge, the cart. You can play one of the boards, which is Wiggler's Tree Party. Does that make sense to us? That you can only share one? I guess it's like a limit in file size, right? You couldn't share the whole thing. Does that seem
I don't
fair?
know if
I
it does. Oh, go ahead, Kirk.
Well, I was going to say that probably 2 points, if that's the case, and it is sharing the game. I don't know that it's actually downloading the game onto the system. Is that what you're going to
Ah,
say, Trev?
right.
Versus just making it available. But I'm also willing to bet that Nintendo does this because they want you to buy it. I mean,
Yeah.
Game Share is a great way to play games with your friends. You're like, man, this is really cool. I got to get this, and now they've made a sale.
It's like a demo in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I feel like I remember this is another example of it's sort of like the partner play.
Mhm.
Nintendo bringing back a feature that's not really new. It just maybe we haven't seen it recently because on the
Mhm.
DS and 3DS you could share. I remember playing those games, and I was
Yeah.
the only one with a copy.
Mhm.
I don't know if it was the 100% of the game, but I feel like it was more than a board. Um,
Yeah.
and that's one DS entry and then three on 3DS. So that's like four
Mm.
different games with game share. It's
Yeah.
cool they're bringing it back, but I do feel like some of the marketing is a little disingenuous when we're like, we have these new features, and of course, us who have played many Mario Party games, we're like, wait a minute, those aren't new. They just have a different name. I
Yeah, that's
recognize
true.
them.
I feel like one board is probably not enough. There are quite a few boards. Is it 7 in Mario Party
Mm.
Jamboree? Yeah. You'd think you could get 2 or 3, right? Like, I think maybe 1 is a bit of a short straw or whatever. I remember with Mario Kart, was it Mario Kart 7? No, Mario Kart DS you could share, right, on the DS. And I feel like you could play more than just one track, right? You could only choose one character, I think. You had to be, was it Mario or Toad or
A
something?
Shy Guy, I think.
Or Shy Guy? Yeah.
Was it like different colored Shy Guys?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think the characters were limited to just one character, maybe colors. I can't remember. But I thought you had at least a handful of tracks, maybe a whole cup or something. I can't remember the details either, but it wasn't just one track, was it? So yeah, it seems like maybe this isn't enough. But I guess Wiggler Street Party, it's a fun course. It's the easiest, I think, of all the courses. It is.
Yeah, kind of your starter course.
It's your starter course, yeah. So it makes sense from that perspective, but I think it might have been good to have a medium sort of course and maybe a harder course, like one of each kind of thing. I don't know, just to vary it up a little bit.
I feel like that racing course would have been good with the frenzy mode because
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's the course they showed
that
when they were
was,
showing that
yeah.
frenzy mode.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be super fun actually, because in that one you can get, what is the dice called where you just zoom around, you skip everything.
Yeah.
It's
I
crazy.
forget, but I know you and Rachel like that a ton.
Yes, I
But
love
for
that
that
one.
thread we did, if it was just you guys, that would have been number one.
Yeah.
I think you both had that one. I think the mall ended up winning because I think I had it one and you had it like two and two or
Mm-hmm.
something. But anyway, yeah, with
Yeah.
7 courses, they could have given you access to more. But maybe
Yeah.
they're banking on the fact that a lot of people already have the game on Switch, and maybe they're just gonna put down $10 or whatever, or $20 for the
Yeah.
upgrade.
Well, I was going to ask, do we know what the price is? But I don't think we do for the upgrade, do we? But I assume it's slightly more than the others that are, around the $10 mark. I'm assuming it is probably a 20-ish.
I think it's 20. I think it's the same as Kirby. I
Right.
thought,
Okay.
which I
Oh, so
think
there
is
is a
like
price.
19.99.
Yeah, which is fine. I'll pay $20, although it'd be 30 in Australia, to be honest. But that's fine. I think that's okay. I will still do that. Yeah. Cool. Any other thoughts on Mario Party Jamboree before we move on to some other news?
Just
Nothing.
if you haven't bought it yet, it's one of the best Mario Party games in years. So
Yeah, it
you'll have a
is.
fun time.
It is really
Yeah,
good.
regardless of the Switch 2, if you're still holding on to your first Switch and don't have this game, pick it up. Sure.
Yeah, it is really it's really fun. It's really good. And it already does come with a lot of other modes outside of the boards. Like, well, I can't remember the names of them. Sorry, I'm terrible with names of things. Like there's the one with the group in the city who has to destroy the
Oh
mecha,
yeah, with
the
Bowser, that
fake
was a pretty
Bowser.
big mode.
That was good. There's that 100 play. Is it 100 players or something, or 80 players racing through these
Yeah,
mini
it's like a
games?
Coinathlon or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. That's super fun. There's some really good modes in there. Makes me want
There
to
were
read.
several motion controlled ones too,
Yeah,
which would
yeah.
really, man, they give you a workout.
They
That
do.
flapping one, I'm like, oh,
Yes, I'll have to go. Oh, well, maybe I'll wait for the upgrade. But it's another thing I should revisit. I haven't played it recently, and it is really fun. So yeah. But let's move on to some other news. There's a little bit of Pokemon news this week. In terms of, we found out that a Pokemon Presents Direct is coming on July 22nd, which seems like a long way away. I'm not sure why they gave us so much notice, but that's cool to know that that's coming.
well,
Uh,
it's next month.
well, it
So
is. That's true. Yeah, now we're entering June. So, yeah, I guess that's true. It's about 5 or 6 weeks away. I don't know what they're going to talk about. Probably Pokemon Legends ZA, which we now have a release date for, which is coming out on October 16th of this year.
yay.
So that's exciting. And you won't need to get a Switch 2 to get this, Trav, because I know this is a game that would interest you and me also. But
Yeah.
it is on
I
Switch
think
as
it's
well.
actually $10 cheaper on Switch. I thought I saw
That's
it was
cool.
50 on Switch and 60 on Switch too.
Yeah, okay. That's
I
not too
don't know
bad.
if that's 100% or if they were just converting from Japan or whatever,
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, so
but
I will likely pick this up on the Switch 2 since I will have a Switch 2. So we can compare notes if you don't have a Switch 2 by then. I think you will, Trav.
well, I think I already have an edge with Switch 1. I don't have that ugly text at the bottom blocking the art.
I
'Cause
know,
if you
I
compare the
did see
covers,
that.
the
Yes,
Switch one does look a little better because you see more of the art.
it does. Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah, that is a really good point.
I'm
Well,
grasping at straws, but
yeah, but it's true. I agree. I do agree. The Switch One cover art does look nicer for sure. Does Kirk have an opinion on that? Do you know what we're talking about?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
and I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the point of having the big announcement so everybody knows that they're not buying the game for the wrong system.
Mhm.
But people still will buy the wrong game for the
Oh,
wrong
yeah.
system.
Totally. Yep.
Um, and you're robbing us. At least they should do it so there's reverse cover art on the inside.
Ooh,
So
yes.
after you buy it, you could take it out, turn it around, and then get what you should be seeing.
I like
Yeah.
that idea.
That's a great idea. Do you think they will do that or not?
Uh, I don't know. Do the boxes for the Switch 2 games, like I know they're red on the inside. Is it
Mm.
a transparent red or
I
what,
don't
You're
opaque? Is
know.
that the
right.
word I'm
I
looking
think
for? I
maybe
can't
it's
remember.
not. I think I
Yeah,
remember
so
seeing somebody say
Yeah, I
that.
don't think it
yeah,
is.
in that
Mm.
case, nobody's gonna pay to double print if they're,
Yeah, just so that some of us can switch it around.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the 4 or 5 Switch 2 owners who feel the same way we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a shame.
Well,
Oh,
we'll
well.
make our own cover art.
Yes. Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's gonna be a big one in October. It did make me think with that release, because we know we've got, I guess, a look if we're looking ahead to the games for Switch 2, we've got Donkey Kong Bonanza in July. This is now October. I guess Hyrule Warriors is sometime, did they say winter, I suppose? When do we
Mm.
think Metroid Prime will fit into that schedule? Because we don't have a release date for that yet, and we don't know what their big first party title for the holiday season is, unless we think Pokemon, because that is pretty big. Is that going to carry Nintendo over? Also, Mario Kart is kind of evergreen, I suppose, if you like. What do you guys think about that?
I could see Metroid being November.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be around ahead of Christmas. I
Mm,
think they
mhm.
need that, or if not, then they're going to have another game that they haven't announced yet to help really push a lot of systems
Mhm.
for the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I can see it happening. They've definitely said 2025, right, for Metroid Prime 4. So it
Yeah.
has to be
And
this
even
year.
if they go a month from, say, they go a month after Pokemon Legends,
Mhm.
that still puts it in before the like the Black Friday shopping
Mhm.
Mm.
weekend,
Oh yeah, true.
or even week. I feel like they keep moving it back every year. So, but
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think you'd want to go more than a month, especially when it's the first holiday system for their new,
Mm. Mhm.
console.
Yeah, exactly. And then they've got a lot of big games. I mean, Drag X Drive does not have a release date yet either. I don't know if that's on the same tier as your Metroid and your Pokemon, etc., but it's a first party title.
It's
That's what
hard
it.
to tell based on the footage we've seen. I'll have to see
Mm.
more.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then I guess there's been these rumors of a Nintendo Direct in June. Do we think that's likely? I'm hearing like 2 weeks after Switch 2. We usually have a June Direct though, don't we? Is that right?
Seems early to have one right after the
It
launch.
does. It does. Yeah. I thought the same thing. I don't know where these rumors are originating from, but Justin seems to always know the cadence, doesn't he? Of directs. Are you familiar with those,
Mm.
Trev? Like how often?
Um, Probably not to the extent of his. I, I would think they'd want to at least give us a month to get acquainted with
Mm,
if they were going to have one that quick to me, and of course, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate with this, but it would be like, okay, we're lacking confidence in our system if we got to put out a direct this quick. I
mm,
think they would save it
yeah.
myself, maybe for like September or something. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think they would want to wait until they've got enough systems because let's say they're having the direct to announce a big game that's going to push some systems, then his everybody who didn't get their pre-orders in, they're waiting for that email from Nintendo. Have they even gotten that yet? And here you are,
Yeah.
bringing more people in to buy it. And like, what about me?
Yeah, I haven't got it yet. Yeah, that's true.
mm,
Yeah. I mean, they normally do a September one. I'm pretty sure they normally do a June one and then but maybe they'll push it back to July, or maybe there'll be an indie. No, maybe not. I
I
don't
feel
know.
like since E3 went away, we kind of are expecting more in this summer, but
Mm.
something to like fill its void. But I don't know if there's any type of pattern, or maybe there is, and I just haven't noticed.
Yeah, and I mean, because the Switch 2 is releasing at an odd time for Nintendo, like June is not a typical release month for a console for them. It does mess up with, I guess, their usual pattern of directs. I maybe could see one at the end of June, perhaps. That's, almost, it's at least 3 weeks, maybe 4, or maybe early July would be more likely. That's a good month. And maybe it's also to help promote the system because, like you said, not everyone will have one by then, but it's a promotional activity, isn't it? And then people will see what's coming out. Maybe there'll be a Metroid release date, for example, to get people wanting the system even more. But yeah, you'd think September, October would be more likely to lead into the holiday season, to get that excitement, to drive up that excitement. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see because that's the rumor. But yeah, who knows, right? Who knows, indeed. Nintendo's just been switching it up a lot recently. Yeah,
Switching it up.
exactly. Keeping us on our toes. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we move on to the games that we're playing? Anything else related to that? The Pokemon stuff or the Direct or anything? No?
Not
No,
for
I'm
me.
ready to talk games.
All right, let's talk about some games then. So I'll go first. I am playing a little game for review purposes for the Switch, and it is called Not Not 2, a brain challenge. And I had no idea what this game was. I think, Trev, you acquired this code for us. So thank you. I saw it on the list. I'm like, I'm going to give this game a go.
I don't remember. You're
Ah,
welcome.
yeah, it's great. I love it. I've only played a little, so I'm gonna have to give it a bit more time before I write a review. But so far, it's terrific. It's exactly my style of game because in so many ways. First of all, it's a brain challenge. It's not like brain training exactly where you're doing like maths or whatever, but it is a challenge for your brain. The concept is that you're a little avatar who stands on a cube, a three-dimensional cube. The cube can rotate, or sorry, the avatar can move in 4 directions. You're standing on the very top. You have your D-pad or your control stick. You can move up, down, left, or right. There's an instruction on the front of the cube, and it tells you which direction to go. So left, move left, move right, up, down, etc. Easy, right? And you have to do it within a time limit. You've got to do it. There's 30 instructions to get through for each level, and then that finishes that level. Of course, it gets harder. So you can go not left, and so you have to go right or up or down. Basically, just don't go left. not left. It becomes so that means you do go left. Then there's colors introduced. So then there's green, red, blue, and yellow, and whatever else. Sometimes it'll just say nothing, and so you just stand there while the timer goes and don't do anything. Then it's like not nothing. So it changes it up, and it it gets increasingly harder. There's the time element at play, so you have to do it within a time limit, otherwise you explode. It's super, super fun. It's really cool and challenging and fast paced. And because there's only 30 of these things to get through, it's pretty quick. Um, but there's so many modes. I love how many modes there are. So this is the casual mode. It has 99 levels, so it's plenty of content. And then there's this extra mode, which you can unlock after getting to level 16, I think it is. You can unlock these extra challenges, for want of a better word. Then there's versus mode for up to 4 players locally, where you sort of race against the clock to beat these 30 challenges. That you can set different parameters though. You don't have to do. You can do 20 or 30. You can make it faster or slow, whatever. You can make it your own. And then there's this daily and weekly challenge mode as well. So every day there's a new challenge, and there's a clock that counts down. You've got 12 hours left to do this challenge. There's a leaderboard, and then on top of that, this is where it's for me because I love you'll love this, Trav. It's the completionist in me. It has a very robust reporting system, and every level in this 99 levels, you have to get 3 stars. But then you have to get a golden cube, which means you don't use any continues to get through to your 3 stars. And it lists all of this in this really, really well laid out reporting mode or whatever settings area. So it's got your sort of your best, your most consecutive turns, use your fastest reaction time, all these stats. And then it's got your list of all your levels, like level 1, have you got your 3 stars? Have you got your golden cube? And then like a percentage of completion. I just love that. I absolutely love seeing a very easy list of things to complete. It's that inner checkbox mode in me. I just want to tick that off. I want to make sure I've got 100% in this level. So for me,
Can
it's
you get them all on one play, or is it like
oh,
you play, get the 3 stars, and then it unlocks them? Like,
you can do it in one, yeah, because so each level you have a set number of continues. I'm not quite sure how many continues you have, but say you are told to go left and you go right by mistake, your little dude kind of explodes, and you can choose to continue or restart. And if you continue, say you're up to like the 20th out of the 30th turn, you probably want to continue. You won't get your golden cube though because you're using a continue, but you will get your 3 stars. You just have to get through your 30 steps to get your 3 stars. So it's not too hard to get to the 30. Yeah, but if you do run out of continues, like you do make too many mistakes, and obviously that happens more when it gets harder, then you just have to restart. You have no choice. But if you, like, for example, if I was playing and I stuffed up the first or second turn, I would just restart. I wouldn't bother continuing because it seems like a waste. But yeah, you could get through it. You could get through and get your 3 stars and your golden cube in one go if you didn't make any mistakes. But it really tickles the brain. It's just like you're looking at it going, not left. Obviously, you get to know that 3 knots mean like cancels each other out to the extent where it's not left. So you just go right. But it's just, and then there's like upside down ones. There's even more crazy modes where you have to play the controller like up is down, left is right. Do you know what I mean? Like it's reversed. So there's even more, and I have only scratched the surface. I'm only up to like level 20. So there's going to be even more craziness I haven't even got to yet.
you're going to have to write your review like, this game is not bad, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I will have to throw that in for sure. And I don't know, I've never heard of Not or Not 2. I am assuming it's a sequel, I guess. Apparently it's a mobile game. Seems quite popular. I can definitely see mobile origins. I think a touchscreen, I haven't tried whether the touchscreen works on the Switch. Actually, I'll try that as well. I can see this being a very addictive mobile game. But, not every mobile game translates to Switch. They don't always do a good job. It doesn't always fit. This one does. Like, the music is really good. The graphics are really nice. You can unlock new avatar, like, colors and background little images. It's just got a lot to it. And it's a really cheap game. Like, it's just, it's really got a lot going for it. So I'm very impressed with this one so far. So, yeah. That's 2 weeks in a row for me because I really liked last week's one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, very happy with it. Not 2. So watch my upcoming review. I don't think it'll take too long because it's a puzzle game, but I'm going to stick with it. I want to make sure it doesn't get kind of boring over time. I don't want it to fade. I think the daily challenges will definitely help with that. So I'll check in every day and see how that goes. Obviously the multiplayer really helps with that too because you can have friends join you or whatever. So Hayden and I had a quick go last night and he beat me. And I'd been playing for like half an hour and he just jumped in and
Way
beat
to
me.
go, Hayden.
Yeah. So, yeah, the reflexes.
Are you sure you weren't just being a good parent and letting him win?
Totally was doing that, yes.
Ah,
Thank you, Kirk. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I'm playing this week. So, yeah, it's a good one.
But you should highlight, too, that when you say it's really cheap,
Mhm.
it's $4 in the U.S.
Yeah.
and currently on sale for $1.80.
Is it?
So
It's even cheaper.
yes. And there's DLC, I see. You can get extra packs.
Yeah, the DLC, and I think it's $3 in Australia, I checked. So it must be like $1 or $1.50 in the US. And that gives you, I think, 3 new like avatars and 3 backgrounds or something for each pack. So yeah, it's really cheap. Like I'm seriously considering just downloading the DLC because obviously the game was free for me because it's a review game. I would happily pay a couple of dollars to get some more avatars at this point. So yeah, it's really cool, really neat. So yeah, if you do like the sound of it, definitely check it out because like Kirk said, it is on sale right now. $1.80, you cannot go wrong with this one. Totally. Yeah. Thank you, Kirk. How are you going with Rune Factory?
Well, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I'm glad Trevor's on this call because he can help me understand some of the things about this game because it's really a lot more complex than I expected. There is so much to manage.
Mm.
unlike in most RPGs where you're basically managing your party and your armor, in this one, you're acquiring all kinds of materials. You're building farms, and they don't really do a good job of explaining. Like you build the farms, and then you bring in people, and they have different skills, and you could tell them to do different things. Like this one's really good at farming, so you say, okay, you're the farmer. Then there's one who's really good at logging. Okay, you take care of that. But they also have like a lot of food that they eat. Some eat too much food, and it's hard to replenish that. And then you're taking your items and putting them in the shed so you can sell them, but they don't really explain, like, you might want to hold on to these because you can use these to craft better things, whereas these you definitely go ahead and sell. So I'm spending so much time worrying about whether I'm doing everything right, that I don't know if I'm pushing as far into the venture as I should, or if it doesn't matter. If you're going to be good no matter what. It's not like I've hit anything yet. We're like, you really screwed that up. Um, there's a companion in the game who at the end of each day says, oh, we don't have enough money, we better sell more things. So you get little hints like that. And he has yet to abandon me completely because I don't know what's going on. And then of course there are characters to romance throughout the whole thing, so you're building relationships, and you get, I don't want to say skill points, but you're acquiring points that can be assigned. They're like all-purpose points that you can use for everything, and then there are specifically sword points to upgrade your sword skills, or longsword, or bow and arrow. So you need to kind of flip around which weapons you're using during the battles in order to level those up, or you could just use your all-purpose points. But they're like personality things too. So you unlock different things that you can do when you're talking to the people. And you need to take care of that too, or else you're just doing the same things throughout. So it's weird and oddly engaging, and I don't know what aspect of it I like the most yet. I don't know if it's just the exploring or hitting new villages, because you do fly to new villages, and you build individual farms there. There are of course subquests that are only available there. You can send the people that you have working on your farm. Some of them you can send somewhere else. So much to manage.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's an odd game, because when I look at it, to me, it's just like your typical JRPG visually that I played. I'm like, I know what this looks like. I know what I'm doing. I do not. I'm getting an education on this game and having fun getting that education.
It does sound a little
Trevor,
stressful.
is that right, Trev? Is that the basic experience with these games, or is this one just kicked into overdrive?
No, it sounds familiar to me. I was trying to, and this is paraphrased because I have to look it up, but I remember I played two of these and I've reviewed one, and I think I said something like, it was the sort of game I felt like I barely scratched the surface, and then I looked at my playtime and I was like 20 hours in, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot, and I guess my tip, to the extent it would be a tip, first of all, if you're a completionist like Gemma, don't even play this game or any of these games.
Yeah, that sounds like way
Dream
too much.
Factory, Story of Seasons, all that is a time sink. But I feel like I was compelled to do as much as I could in any given day, and you really don't have to do that, at least in the couple I've played. So, like, I was trying to prioritize talking to like all these characters because I guess you'll hit a certain sweet spot eventually where you'll get in a rhythm and be like, okay, I don't want to focus on farming today. I want to go questing, or today I just want to build up my relationships, or and hopefully be content with that.
Yeah, well, actually, that's kind of what I've been doing. So I'm glad to hear you say that. Although the adventure in me tends to probably focus too much on pushing story along and going, into battles. And even then, you can't do all of it in one day. They'll send you on I should, before I forget, the map in this game is wonderful because they just show you where everything is right away. Everything that you're farming is a little icon on the map, so you can always go get what you need. You're not wasting time seeking stuff out. It's presented to you. But like your goal will be clear at the end of the map, and you're not going to be able to get it all done in one day. So you have to at least get to the point where you're able to warp there next time, so you can start at that point on the next day. So yeah, there is a lot of back and forth. What does happen if you take too long? I always end up getting to bed on time. And I do you just pass out in the field? What happens?
I
I don't know.
if from what I remember, it's just like a little cutscene that'll be like, "Oh, time for bed," and then you'll just warp
Yeah, I
Okay.
to
feel
like
like
your bedroom. I don't think
yeah.
you'll pass
Ne-
out. But that would be funny if that's a new feature
yeah,
for the.
that's right. Just pass out and wake up and have no idea where you are. All
Yeah.
your things have been stolen.
Yeah, I feel like the prior games and actually games just kind of in this style will automatically boot you back if you're well off the beaten path. Because let's face it, at certain points you're going to be too far away. So
Yeah. And so I think that's what initially threw me with this. I'm trying to play it like the typical JRPGs I played where it's all about the adventuring. In this game, they want you to stop and slow down and do some farming and meet some people and improve some relationships. So yeah, I haven't quite gotten into that flow yet. And I need to because that's the way the game wants you to play it.
Yes. Yeah, I think Fae Farm is like that. It just warps you back at night if you don't make it. Because I was worried too with that one. I'm like, what happens if I don't get back?
It's like I'm not willing to find out. I don't know why. I could just save it and then wait and see what
Yeah.
happens, but I'm like, I can't do that. The
the
game doesn't want me
villagers will
to.
carry you back, but they'll loot your pockets while they're doing it. So
Yeah.
They'll ostracize me from the village for
Yeah.
staying
It's
out too
not
late.
good for your relationships. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you doing out there?
Oh,
I
thank
was
you.
just farming, I swear.
Yeah. Thank you, Kirk. How many hours do you think you've sunk into this one so far?
20, 25,
Okay.
not enough.
yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a longer one, this one, that's for sure. But it sounds appealing. Is it out yet or not?
No, June
No,
5th.
it comes out with the Switch 2. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Both the Switch and the Switch 2 editions, which are separate, but you can upgrade, come out on June 5th.
Yeah, perfect. That's cool. Well, yeah, you've still got time so to finish it before then. Although, do you finish this sort of game, or is it one of those games that just never ends? Like you said, there's missions in a story mode, so I guess the story component might end at some
If it's
point.
like the past games, my wife never like, and she was at a ridiculous level, and like I feel like they just keep dumping stuff like you're never done. Like she put hundreds of hours.
Wow.
I'm not even exaggerating. I think it's like second to Animal Crossing,
Right.
and maybe Pinball FX is right behind it for our three most played. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you got to get that done before your 3-point plan comes into effect, Kirk.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I'll have other things to follow. Although I'll probably get the upgrade to Switch 2 just to see
Oh,
how different. This will
yeah.
be the one game I played recently where I can see the impact of the updates.
True. Yeah, maybe I should do that with Fantasy Life. I should get the Switch version before the Switch 2 just so I can play it for a bit and then upgrade it and see what the difference is. It's not a bad idea. Cool. Well, thank you for the update on Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma. Trev, what are you playing this week?
Yeah, I mainly want to talk about my review game, but just a quick shout out to Xenoblade because some of what I was hearing Kirk say is reminding me of what I'm doing with Xenoblade, where I'm like, I want to do these story missions, and then like I'm getting there, and the enemies are so much more leveled up than me. I'm like, whoa. And then I'm like, maybe I'll explore, and I'm like, ooh, what's this glowy bit? Or ooh, let me ransack this, this artifact here. Or oh, here's a cutscene, and oh, let me just finish this side quest back in the city. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh wait, what's the main thing I'm working on again? Like,
Yeah.
so
I was wondering how much time you both have spent in Xenoblade Chronicles X, actually. I was thinking of that before the show because I haven't really asked Kirk that question. And I imagine you've spent quite a bit of time. And now, Trev, you're playing it.
I'm up over 100
Mm-hmm.
and not
yeah,
done.
Yeah.
I'm only like 6 or 7, so I got to.
Early days.
But I probably spent a half an hour just deciding like what is it, what class you want to be part of. Like at the end of the first hour, they're like, you can be a scouter, or you can be a defender, or you can. And I'm like, I hemmed and hawed, and I'm like, what should I pick? What should I pick?
What did you choose?
I
put you on the spot.
I'm either, I forget the name. I'm either the one where you plant the poles to try to expand the map, or I'm the one that's like the scouter where you're trying to identify like different I forget the names because it's a brand new game to me. I
Mm.
didn't play it on Wii U.
The pole planter sounds a bit President Hudson-y.
It reminds me of like the
Yep.
towers in like Breath of the Wild, except you're putting things into the ground. And of
Right.
course, there's always enemies around the spot, so it always battles ensue. But
Mhm.
The one thing that'll drive you nuts later on is when you get any kind of quest, and there are like 4 or 5 different ways to get them, and they say you need to be about level 38 to do this. I'm like, okay, I'm level 38. And then when you go to get what you need, it's protected by a level 50 monster, or you're fighting a monster that's at your level, and another one that's level 70 wanders by, sees the fight, and is okay, I'm joining in. Like, what
oh,
are
I hate
you
that.
doing?
Oh my
Like,
gosh. Yeah. Stand
I,
down.
I died. I died earlier fighting like these spider. It was like a low level spider. Like it was like level, I don't know, 7, and I'm like level 10, and I'm like, oh, I'll take this out, and then 2 more showed up out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, God.
Oh my gosh. Which class did you choose, Kirk?
pole planter.
Okay.
I can't remember the name either. I played it 100 hours, and I only did it because that's what I did the first time I played. I remembered I did this last time, and it served me well. I don't know that it works the same way in this version. I think I
Oh,
saw something that said it's not as important a decision as it was on the Wii U.
okay. Because you can't change classes later. Is that right?
Oh, you could change jobs. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
Fair
think it's.
yeah.
Did they say it's
There
frowned
comes a
upon, but you can do it? Like,
enough.
well, they did. Yeah, like it's frowned upon in game. Like it's weird. Like they're saying the characters in the game will think this is a bad move, but they're not punishing you as a player for doing it. So I don't even know what they were trying to get
That's
across.
interesting. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you for the Xenoblade Chronicles X update. What else are you playing, Trev?
oh yeah. So my main game, my review game, is a game called Old Skies. It's a point and click graphic adventure
Cool.
that's dealing with time travel. And of course, the last game I reviewed also dealt with time travel. So I'm kind of in a time travel zone here. But this one's really interesting because, um, well, for the sake of time and also for memory, I'll just sum it up. What I'm enjoying is there's actually a lot of failure, but it's failure that's by design. So, for instance, I'm the player character. You're basically like an agent escorting people who can pay back in time to interact with characters who are considered like low level. They won't create a lot of time ripples if you change anything because they're too minor. It's not like you can go back and save the president's life or anything, but you can take some average blue collar guy and take him back and, whatever. And that's not going to affect the timeline to any degree. So that's okay. Um, so what happens is I took a client back in time, and uh, the person we were going to see ended up getting killed. The client got killed. I got killed. And I'm like, what the heck? And then it rewinds, and it's basically like a butterfly effect or like a Groundhog Day type thing. You're basically replaying the scene, trying to prevent the tragedy and get your desired outcome. And there's a lot of different ways you can go about it in terms of conversations or puzzles. And I died so many times. Finally, it starts back the cutscene as normal, and she's like, "What's up?" And you're like, "Yeah, we're in a time loop. We've died a few times. Yeah, don't go in there. We got to figure out something different." Like, so it's very story driven. It's all professionally voice acted by uh, most of the actors have dozens, if not hundreds, of credits and a lot of other games and anime and animation stuff. So it adds a lot to it. And yeah, I'm just really digging it. I don't know how long it is. I just finished my second client, and I feel like there's a deeper undercurrent going on as far as the whole organization behind the time travel. But that's speculation on my part.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I like the sound of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're jumping like you'll be jumping around a lot too. Like a tragedy happened, and we're like, oh, go back 6 months earlier, and then we go back 6 months earlier, and we get a new piece of information. Take that 6 months ahead in the future, and then it's like And then, oh no, the client escaped. And now what do you do? Because it's like, you have a potential for a major paradox there. And yeah, it's a sci-fi lovers type of thing, especially if you're into reading, or in this case, it's mostly narrated, but there's still some reading too. So
Yeah. And it looks like it's on sale as well, 10% off at the moment until the 4th of June.
and no glitches.
No glitches. I love that. Yes. I love that for you after your last experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds really neat. I'm keen to hear your final thoughts when you end up writing your review. Yeah, Old Skies. Yeah, the graphics look pretty nice. Yeah, I love a good visual novel point and click type of thing as well. So, yeah, keen to hear what you think in the end. Definitely. Any other? Well, I guess that's the end of our games that we're playing. Any other thoughts from anyone, either of you, before we, I guess, close things off for the week? Can't believe we're at the end of the show, but yes, it's gone fast. We have gone well over the hour, but we had a lot to say. It's a big week. It's a really big week. It is Switch 2 week. Next week, I guess we'll be talking about, hopefully, assuming one of Kirk's 3 points works. Hopefully, we'll both be discussing our time with the Switch 2. If not, it'll just be me talking about Mario Kart for now. No, we'll see how we go. But hopefully you do. Good luck, Kirk, with your experience this week. Good luck to our listeners.
Well, thank you.
All the best.
Have you ever had a one-person podcast, Gemma?
No.
Has it ever just been
you? No. I need someone to talk to. I think it'd be too boring with just me. I love bouncing off you guys. Yeah, but so good luck everyone this week. Enjoy your Switch 2s. We cannot wait to talk about it next week. Yeah, I guess if you want to follow us, I mentioned Blue Sky earlier. We do have a Blue Sky account. Get on over to that and see what we're doing there. We are counting down to the Switch 2 every day, so you can look back and see the top 30. We're doing like 30 reasons why we're excited. So yeah, there's a few days to go. So yeah, see what else is happening.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what you use for number 1.
Oh gosh, yeah. You should. It's a lot of pressure.
It's going to be that game that should have been a pack-in.
The welcome tour.
Oh no, you already used that.
I
That's
did
right.
do that one. I did do that one. Yeah, I might need to ask you guys for advice. If you'd like to check out our news and reviews on our website, head on over to purenintendo.com. If you would like to support us, we are on Patreon, so head on over to patreon.com/purenintendo. We're putting together our next issue of the Pure Nintendo magazine, a physical magazine that will get sent directly to your door. So jump on board and get ready for the next issue that will come out. Hopefully in June is what we're aiming for at this point. We're working on it right now. I can see articles popping up all over the place for proofing, so that's cool. But yeah, thank you so much, both of you, for joining me. Thank you, listeners. And until next week, game on, everybody. Bye.
So long.